Bitcoin has been moving sideways now for a while, so we're gonna check if this is a corrective or an impulsive move. So we have a few different scenarios. This is the bearish scenario, which we had in the previous Bitcoin video. Here I mentioned before that the invalidation for this 1-2-1-2 and so on is this. So we can't count this as a 1-2 if we are taking out this high. So this needs to go. And now that that is invalidated, we need to look at the possibilities of this being a 1-2. So if this is a 1-2, then we need to have like a 1-2 here. And I have that in a bit more detail here. So here we are counting this as a 1, 2, 3, 4. But you can see that wave 4 here is overlapping wave 1, which is a hard rule for Elliott Wave to not, is not allowed. So we can't count it like this. So if we count it like this, like a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and then what? Where is our 2? So we need to have a 2 here, but then we are going above the start of 1, so we can't do that. We need to remove that, and if this is a 1, 2, then what is this? This can't be an A, B, or a C to a 3. So you see the issue here. So then we need to basically have 1 here and 2 over here, so because this is the top. So if we remove these, so you can see here that if we put the 1 here, this is very challenging to count as an impulse, because we have an impulse here, and it is a 3-wave movement. So if we want to count this as an impulse, it's got to be diagonal. So if we do this as a diagonal, like that, so here we have a 1, 2, and then we have a 1, 2. You can see the proportions of wave 2 here compared to this wave 2. This is way longer in time, and that's not really what you want in a lower degree wave 1 and wave 2. It's not breaking any rules or anything, but you don't really want to see that. So this is now, this is fine for a wave 2, but then we have the fib, and we hit the 886, which is a very uncommon target for a wave 2, which lowers the probability that this is indeed a wave 2. So this is basically the only way to count it like a bearish option. And as I said, we hit 886, so that's not probable that it is a wave 2. But stranger things have happened, so we need to be aware of it. But if we are taking out this high, then basically the bears doesn't have any options left. So we'll just have to wait and see. If we take out 11,717, then we know basically, because if we take out this high, you have 1 and then 2 over here, and then you will have, yeah, it starts to get very, very, very long in time for a wave 2. And then if you have a 1, like an A, B, C, that's the way you gotta count it. And if you count it like that, you are hitting also 161.8 and 178.6, which is this is a very, very, very low probability target for wave B. So if you have a wave 1 here, you gotta count it like A, B, C, and you hit all these targets for a wave B. Yeah, it's not looking good for the bears, basically. So it's a much higher probability that this is a corrective structure. And if this is a correct structure, it's got to be correcting something. And if it is correcting something, it's correcting the start of this movement. And if it's correcting the start of this movement, it means that sooner or later, it's higher probability to take out this high. So that's basically the scenario for the bears. And then you can count this move that happened in a few different ways. So here we count this as a finished WXY, double zigzag down, and then we have 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 3 4 5 3 4 5 3 4 5 and so on. The issue here is that this doesn't really count well as an impulse. It's not breaking any rules or anything, as I mentioned before. We are following the rules strictly, but the probabilities here, because this you got to count as a running flat. So you have A, B, C here in wave 2, and a running flat is very, very uncommon. This is the most uncommon flat structure. And here you have a wave 1, which have a very three-wavy look to it. You can argue that some waves here are hidden, like a 1, 2, and then a 3, and this is the 4. But if this is a 1, 2, then the 2 is very short in time compared to wave 4. So it doesn't have the highest probability, but it's not breaking any rules. So this is an option still, until we basically take out some of these 1, 2s to lower the probability. So this is basically, this count is looking for way higher prices that we are basically done here in this correction, and looking for this correction top to be taken out. So this is bullish. And then we have a deeper double zigzag. And here we are counting this move down as an impulse.
Wave Y?
Wave A. An expanded flat here in wave B. And then we have a C wave in a diagonal, an ending diagonal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which fits nicely, I would say. And here is a bit tricky, but we got to count this as a diagonal here, because if we count it as a diagonal here, it doesn't follow the rules. It's off by a few percent, basically. But yeah, we got to stick to the rules. So this is the better fit. So this is an A, B. We have a triangle in B, and a triangle in B like this, and it looks very shallow. But this is actually common, because here target for wave B of a triangle in a zigzag. So in a running triangle or a normal triangle. So contracting. So you can see here that we are within this main target area. So this is totally fine for a triangle. And then we are moving up into a wave C to complete either, so like a W. And then we have wave X here with A, B, C. Or we are now looking for, this is wave W. And then we have a wave X. And then we're moving up into another correction for wave X here to finish wave X with a wave Y. So what we are interested in here is basically looking at the SIBs, because if this is the correction, the start of a bigger downwards correction, we don't really want, if we are bearish and looking for a double zigzag here, we don't really want to take out this 70% fib, because that lowers the probabilities significantly that this is a deep double zigzag. Then if we take out this fib, it increases the probability that this is a sideways correction. So if it's a sideways correction, then it's a W, X, and Y can't be a zigzag. Then Y only can be a triangle or a flat. So then we are basically done with the lower prices. I mean, a flat can take out the low, but it mainly ranges around in this range, basically. So if we hit that, we know there's a higher chance we are staying in this range before we move up and take out the high. But this is also bullish because this is a corrective structure. It's not an impulsive structure. So we just got to wait and see here for this structure. If this is an impulsive structure, so like an 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse, then we are looking for either a wave X, or we are looking for this to be over, and we're looking for wave Y to way lower prices in a finishing WXY double zigzag. But we got to keep an eye on this structure, what is forming here, to be more sure of it. But nonetheless, everything is pointing towards taking out the all-time high at some point. And I'm not talking about sooner or later. Yeah, what if in 4 or 5 years? No, this is a corrective structure. The higher probability corrective structure than an impulsive. And if it's a corrective structure, then we're not expecting to wait years to take out this high. And after that, I got to show that this is a macro count. A higher degree count. What we are basically looking for now, we are looking for a wave 5 to finish this bearish run, basically. So this is on a weekly basis. And here I have calculated some fib targets in fib time for when the correction could be over, or at least when something is about to happen, because with this fib times, something is it's not always over, but it usually marks something important that is happening. So here you can see that we had a fib time here on September 8th, and after that, because we moved here in a sideways structure, and right after this we moved up. After this fib time was over. So this, you could argue that this is basically the end of this part, and we're moving up. But here, so the highest probability fib cluster with fib time is here. And here, basically, something big is going to happen. This is the next probable target for it, September 21, and this is the third probable target, September 28. And this is basically the last probable target, October 3. So, yeah, it's good to be aware of these fib time targets clusters as well, because you get a feel, like a sense for when the correction is maybe taking another turn. If we are moving up and we hit this, get ready for maybe a move down, or and so on. So yeah, something to be aware of. But that was it for today. So check out I almost forgot. This is also a bearish option, but it's way too early to talk about diagonals really, but we got to have it as an option. So here we are counting basically the move from the all-time high ABC, a zigzag family structure, into a 1, and then we have a wave 2, and then we have 3, 4, 5, and so on in a diagonal. And this is a high probability target for a wave 2, so we are hitting this sweet spot basically. But you don't really want to talk about diagonals before we are hitting wave 4. And so this is way too early to talk about. But when I say it's way too early and I still mention it, well, why do I do that? Well, it's important to be aware of it, at least. But still, right now, everything is pointed towards higher probability of taking out the all-time high. So that was it. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.